Not all numbers are born for the balance sheet. Some are born to bring a smile. Some usher the future. Some make you stand tall. Some numbers light a fire and fulfill wishes. Some spoil you silly. Some echo joyful shrieks. Some numbers have smiles written all over them. Some make the planet happy. Some make the planet healthy. Some numbers rise against all odds. Some are made for dreams. Not all numbers are born for the balance sheet. As we spread our wings globally, we at Mahindra believe that the numbers we are most proud of are the number of lives we have touched. Mahindra, together we rise.
India's economic architects, together on one powerful stage. From Nitin Gadkari to Arvind Panagaria and Montek Singh Ahluwalia. Visionaries who are shaping India's future. All debating the Viksit Bharat roadmap, where legacy meets leadership. Here, the real policy playbook. Finance, roads, reforms. Disinvestment, nothing is off the table. The inside views, uncensored. Only at Adani Business Today, India at 100, 8th August 2025, Shangri-La Eros, New Delhi.
Hello and welcome. You're watching Business Today Television. I'm Sakshi Batra and this is Market Today, a show where we'll help you understand the trading setup and the market strategies you need to follow for this fresh and new week. Well, first up, we'll start off with a recap. It was another challenging week for the Indian equity markets last week, and the Nifty 50, the benchmark index, it fell by over 1%, extending its losing streak for 5 straight weeks as well. That's the longest in 2 years that we have seen. Now, the last time the Nifty had actually seen such a prolonged decline was between July 2023 and August of 2023. And the ongoing weakness has rather been driven by persistent concerns over tariffs, the broader macroeconomic developments during the earnings season, and the markets will continue to closely track all those developments in this fresh and new week as well. Also, around the India-US trade deal, the policy makers are expected to respond diplomatically ahead of the next scheduled discussions. Remember, on the domestic front, all eyes will also be on the Reserve Bank of India's monetary policy meeting on August 8, where the central bank's commentary on inflation, liquidity, and growth outlook will also be very keenly watched out for. Now, how are the U.S. markets, trading set up at? Now, the Wall Street update ensured that the U.S. stocks dropped on Friday after data slowed as markets slowed down in jobs growth and unemployment data rose. The U.S. President Donald Trump also unveiled a slew of new tariffs, and all of that led to weakness across the board in the U.S. markets on Friday as well. Now, remember, apart from this, in a shock move, Donald Trump has also sacked the head of U.S. Labor Statistics Agency, and he's also indicated that he will announce a new Federal Reserve governor and a new jobs data statistician in the coming days as well. Appointments that may dramatically shape the economic agenda and the global anxiety at this point in time. Remember, S&P 500 ended lower by 1.5%. Nasdaq dropped by 2%. This is the biggest one-day decline in months for the two benchmark indices, and that's despite the improving earnings in the US as well. That sell-off also creeped into the Asian markets. They extended to a 7th day of weakness, and we are again seeing the Nikkei down by about 2%, Topics down by 1.7%, Kospi down by 0.8%, and the Hang Seng futures although are up, for the week. Now, in case when we look at today, the setup is looking positive. Hang Seng, Nikkei, Kospi are indicating to a positive start for the Indian markets. Gift Nifty is indicating a gap up at 24,690. That could be a breather for the markets that have been only seeing signs of red over the last 1 week as well. Let me quickly welcome our guest on board, Mr. Vineet Pulinchkar. He's the head of research at Ventura Securities, and he's joining in to share with us with the comments on the markets and the overall scenario that we are looking at. Warm welcome to you, Vineet. Good to have you with us as always at the start of the week. Well, so much has transpired over the last, few days when it comes to tariffs, a higher tariff coming in from the US for India. Markets have been trying to digest all of that. How are you looking at, the sentiments that were already pretty weak ahead of the final announcements, and these announcements are also not conducive to the Indian markets now?
The biggest clincher is that the tariffs have been postponed by 7 days. That is telling you that the hard stand that the president is taking is not, working for them. And all the analysis that we have seen over the weekend clearly points to the fact that, it's a no-go for, the way, Trump has been dealing with the trade deal. So I guess we are going to see a very soft landing going ahead. And from here, I think I would be getting more positive on the Indian markets. Sans the fact that, if we have some kind of accident globally, that could happen. You should always keep that at the back of your mind because, the American economy is at a very, very delicate point in its, it rather it would have ever been, since World War II. So I guess, things are not looking very good. And, one very important thing to keep note of is the fact that while the US has, proposed stable coins, China has banned crypto. So, with India banning crypto, China banning crypto, I think, there is some play happening there which is not in their favor. So that is a negative that you should be watching out for in the coming quarter. But, in the interim, I think the markets are looking better off because I think we're quite grossly oversold.
Okay, but help me assess the impact of the higher tariffs announced for India vis-a-vis as what was being expected, especially on the key sectors that will be directly impacted with these higher tariffs. How would you look at, say, a textile, for instance? Pharma again continues to be lurking under some kind of uncertainty. How are you looking at key sectors that will be impacted?
So, textiles, Bangladesh has its own problems. Pakistan could benefit, but the trade differential between the neighbors and us is about 6% currently. Of course, plus penalties, it becomes difficult. But it would get impacted to a certain extent, right? I think $5 to $6 billion kind of a cut is what we are looking at. But the elephant in the room is not the trade this thing that has been put in. I think worry would be the fact if he were to impose that 500% tariff that would go into play if India were to continue buying oil, which we have indicated which we will be doing, and they are talking of raising tariffs on further sanctions on Russia. So, keeping all these things in mind, these tariffs, I don't think they are going to impact our economy too much.
Okay.
The only thing is, that if the CATSA is applied on India, which is a far off thing, that will be detrimental to our Indian economy.
So, Vineet, but will you say this 25% tariff on India is the worst case scenario, and how long will the markets continue to take to price that in really?
So I think that has already been priced in. And
Okay.
when you're postponing the tariff date by another 7 days, what are you telling the markets? And then you're going to come to India to negotiate on August 25th. So I think if you see the body language from both these factors, I think that the tariffs will still get postponed by another week. and maybe possibly beyond August 25th also. So, come October, I think this entire nonsense of the tariffs will die down because he's getting a tremendous flack in the US. And the MAGA story in Europe has changed from Make America Great Again to Make America Go Away.
Okay, got that. Make America go away, but MAGA, the aspect there. So we will continue to watch out for that. The pre-open trade has started to take on a lower end. 24,220 is what we are looking at, over 1.5% kind of a fall, but this should improve for the better as it is as we speak right now, because Gift Nifty was indicating a positive start rather. So let's see how this really pans out in trade. So Vineet, in the global scenario where the tariff uncertainty continues to loom, and we will continue, it seems like a work in progress, like you already mentioned. Domestic earnings have been the other key trigger that have failed to enthuse the markets or put them back on the positive growth path. How have you assessed the earnings that have come in so far? We're already into like about half of the earnings that would have come in. So what is your top assessment?
So, within the India story, consumption being a drag has always been an issue, right? But the way Lever has performed or the way Procter & Gamble has performed, it is clearly telling you that the market is going to come back. I think the early signs that, your consumption trend is playing out for the positive. And so, the results have been far better than expectations, if I may put it. Uh, I think it's very encouraging, the numbers, and despite all the challenges that we've seen, I think we stand in fairly good territory.
Okay. How about ITC? That's the key earning that we are watching out for today. We have brokerage houses penciling in targets of 490 and 500 on ITC post earnings. Buy call that largely remains on ITC from brokerage houses. Most of them have penciled that the Q1 earnings have been in line with estimates. Cigarette growth has been strong. Margins are expected to recover in second half. FMCG growth is improving. Margin recovery likely, again in the second half as well. Paper business margin has weakened but has likely bottomed out is what most of the experts are saying. And earnings growth acceleration is expected in second half of FY27, according to Goldman Sachs, that is. How would you look at ITC and what stood out?
I think the fact that cigarette, which is a cash cow of the business, is doing well, volumes are good, is clear indication that this bellwether is not going down that bad. And with the revival in your consumption trends, also entire food basket is very strong. So we remain very positive and constructive on the ITC stock as such.
Okay. Let me also quickly welcome Vaishali Parekh on board. She's, heading the technicals and derivatives research at Prabhudas Leeladhar, and she's going to help us with the technical view today. Good morning to you, Vaishali. Good to have you with us. Well, we've already seen a slew of weeks of weakness, the longest losing streak for the Nifty in about 2 years so far. How would you really look at the sentiment that continues to reel under pressure, and what is that going to do to the markets? Are we again looking at this fresh and new week in a very narrow band of trade? Would you say there are higher chances of Nifty falling from these current levels, or there are higher chances of markets bouncing back from these levels?
Very good morning, Sakshi and Vineet. Yes, actually, market, yes. Last week we saw that there was good confusion, a lot of panic, a lot of volatility. So now today also Gift Nifty actually indicates a positive start, but we need to see on our technical levels, if we break 24,500 levels decisively and we sustain below, I think we are heading towards 24,200, and that's the level to watch for. So likewise, even in Bank Nifty, below 55,500, 55,400, we would be looking at a downslide coming towards 55,000. So one thing is confirmed that we are seeing a strong resistance now. I would say not even 25,000, but I would say 24,800. And in Bank Nifty, which we were looking at 56,000, now I would say 55,800. So the upside looks a bit dicey for now, because individual sectors also, if we saw Sakshi on Friday, we were seeing good corrective. So it's very hard to see an upward bias for now.
Okay. Vaishali, you'll continue to look at some stocks for us. Meanwhile, I'll continue our macro conversation with Vineet as well. Beyond ITC, also, I'll come to some earnings. But the other key crucial factor, Vineet, that we are watching out for this week is the RBI policy meet again. How are you looking at what has played in on the tariff front again? What is the impact going to be of the higher tariffs announcement on what is the US, what is the RBI going to really announce as far as the rate trajectory is concerned? We've already seen the RBI front loading us with a 50 basis points of a cut last time. What could happen this time around?
So, I think there is the scope for another 25 bips correction in, interest rates. Uh, the FM has also pointed out to that. But, we've already seen a sharp depreciation in the rupee. And I don't think that the RBI would cut rates that fast because, it would be more inflation positive. So we have got inflation in a good spot, uh, you know, and we have to see the effect of the money supply and the liquidity that the government has created trickle out over the next few quarters. So I think it will be more wait and watch, but a very positive frame from the RBI.
So this time 25 bips cut, or maybe during the course? Could it be a pause this time?
I think it will be a pause, as I said, because rupee has fallen. It's going to be inflationary on the supply side, especially where oil is concerned, and there's a very quite possibility that oil price suddenly spikes up going ahead because the situation around everything with America moving nukes near the Russian borders and
Yes.
stuff like that is not is very conducive for a spike in oil prices.
Okay, so that's a key concern. Although the crude oil prices have actually fallen, and we were looking at that as a positive. The OPEC plus countries are actually looking at increasing their supplies as well, to probably negate any kind of supply shocks coming in from Russia. Of course, the US continues to threaten the allies of Russia to be pressured with another additional 100% tariffs as well. How do you see that? Do you think this is like something that will again play out as a taco trade, or I'm sure countries like India are not going to get pressured with these kind of tactics that Trump is playing out. What could be the detrimental impact of this?
See, Russia has threatened to cut the CPC pipeline, which goes along the Caspian Sea and is a vital route for the European consumption of oil. And that is about quite a few, I think, 1 to 1.5 million barrels per day kind of cut. Now, obviously, with Iran sanctioned, Venezuela sanctioned, and you putting a cap on Russia, you're making the situation very delicate for the oil supply. And, these are not good moves on the chessboard from either of the players. I think somewhere someone has to blink, and it is better that Trump blinks.
Okay, got that. The markets have settled in the pre-open trade, Vaishali. Your top choice of stocks that one should keep an eye out on for today.
Well, I would look at on Friday's close, we saw Ambuja gave a good close. So that is one of the stocks which continues to be in a trending mode. So I would look at Ambuja right now. Pre-opening also is pretty decent. So I would say 590 acts as a support for now. And once we see the stock going above 630, we would be looking at higher targets. And safe stock, of course, ITC, that showed good promise last week. And I think it's looking quite positive. Even now, we are looking at a target of 440, 445 for now.
Okay, got that. So ITC back in focus after the earnings, high targets from brokerage houses, and also Vaishali is penciling in higher number of higher target for ITC as well as some of the cement plays that one could probably be looking at. Let's look at some of the other stocks stocks that you should keep an eye out on. Look at Tata Power. Remember, the earnings came in here, revenue uptick of 4.3%, EBITDA improvement of 15%, margins at 22.9%, net profit up by 9%. Let's look at this one. Vineet, you've been very closely tracking Tata Power. It's been one of your top choice of stocks when we talk about a renewable energy play, a power play as well. What has stood out in the earnings for Tata Power for you? Would you continue to bet big at this stage as well on Tata Power?
Yeah, I think, the story is very much there. Electrical theme is a decadal theme. And, we expect this trend to keep playing out. There can be gyrations on the road, some weak quarters, some positive quarters. But, overall, I think that the entire trend is intact and one should be adding on declines.
Okay, got that. So that's Tata Power for you. Among the other earnings, let me also pull up a few more to understand from you, Vinita, as to how are you looking at it. How would you look at the new age tech stock Delivery post earnings? The earnings have actually come in this time around. Revenue uptick of just 5.5%, but EBITDA has improved by 53% this time to 148 crores. Margins also higher at 6.5%. The stock is also indicating a higher start today, around 440 odd levels. Even the net profit has improved by 67% here. Now, the earnings weakness that had continued for weeks and for quarters in a row, that seems to be changing. The sentiment around the stock also improved in the last couple of months for Delivery. What would your fresh take be here?
I think one should definitely look at Delivery from here on because, when you have a turnaround in numbers on the margin front, and, they're setting up a huge uh, warehouse in Delhi, which is completely automated. I'm sure it's going to add to their revenue and bottom line and expect faster trajectory growth. So definitely a stock to pick up from here. I don't see any kind of downside risk in this stock at all.
Okay, got that. So that's as far as Delivery is concerned. Let me just also understand from you on the healthcare pack, and I'll ask Vaishali also to give us a view on all of these stocks once you've given us a macro view. So Narayana Hrudalai came out with the numbers. Healthcare Global Enterprises also came out with the numbers as well. The healthcare as a pack entirely has been in focus, especially the hospital-related stocks have been in focus over the last couple of months again. What's your top choice here? Is this a space that interests you, Vineet, at all?
Yeah, so we are very constructive on Shelby. I think that hospital, they do not need to do any more capex. Their utilizations are very low. And even at their current low utilizations, they have got some of the best industry margins. And very recently, last week, they performed one of the most automated knee transplant surgeries. Definitely, we are seeing the trend of automation play out in the healthcare. And to my mind, these are some of the stocks which look very, very buoyant from current levels.
Okay, got that. So Shalby is something that we will definitely keep an eye out on from the healthcare pack. What about you, Vaishali? Give us a view on Delivery for today. After this gap up open, would you play this one? And apart from that, in the healthcare stocks, what do you like?
So, of course, Delivery actually, even on the long-term chart which we are looking at, it's showing signs of reversal. So, important thing is that yes, if we are an aggressive trader, you need to buy with today's lowest stop loss and continue holding for a target of 450, 460. But even if I were to talk from a longer-term perspective, the way the chart shows on the weekly level, I think 420, 400 is a very good support zone. And once we see the stock sustaining above 450, 455, this is ready to go towards 500 and higher. So definitely it's quite a strong chart right now. And as far as the healthcare stocks are concerned, top line, I mean, of course, Apollo Hospital is the stock to our liking. And along with that, even Max Health and I think the other stock that I do like is Rainbow.
Okay, we'll keep that in mind as well. So viewers, you've actually got a view from both technical as well as fundamental guests as far as delivery is concerned, how to view this turnaround story, and of course, how are the charts playing out there, and the healthcare stocks, some of those interesting names that our guests have shared with you. Let me just come to the auto space now. Vineet, what have you made of the recent numbers that have come in on sales? Tata Motors, a 7% year-on-year increase in the commercial vehicle sales. Maruti, we've seen total production in July rise by about 0.8% to 1.87 lakh units. M&M, we've seen the complete acquisition of 43.96% stake in SML Isuzu taking place, 15% of SML from Isuzu Motors as well. So that's keeping the stock in focus. Hero Moto, again, the company has reported its July auto sales data, two-wheeler sales rising by 21.5% year-on-year. Many are also seeing this as a better number with respect to Bajaj Auto. How are you looking at the auto space, and what's looking interesting here?
I believe that the second half of this year is going to be a lot better than the trends we have seen, and that is purely the effect of the you know rate cut and the liquidity that the government had done, along with the tax benefits that the masses have got. I think it's going to be a very strong trend going up. And here, the surprise winner is going to be, I think, Ola. One should keep a sharp eye on that stock. I know it's not a favorite of the street, but it's the perfect, value accretive story in the entire auto pack.
So you will be buying Ola Electric at these, levels as well. The
Yeah,
stock has
see,
been continuously
what we
falling.
believe is that, the downside risk is quite low, and one should be nibbling in the stock at current levels and adding on as the story improves further.
Okay, got that. 0.2% higher on that note for Ola Electric at 40.6 levels. Let's quickly look at the markets then. Higher start for the Nifty, 24,580 odd levels can be seen on the Nifty. The Nifty Bank, however, is toggling between the highs and the lows right now. It's a mild positive start for the benchmarks. Over there, when we look at the Nifty Bank, it's 1/10% higher. But both the Nifty and the Sensex also just about 0.05, 0.09% up right now. Advances on the NSE are 1149 to 633 declines at this point in time. Mid caps are actually slightly softer. You can actually see again toggling between the highs and the lows. So it's a flattish start for the markets, including the benchmarks as well as the broader market indices. Let's see whether this improves for the better. Going forward from here, when we look at the heat map on the Nifty, you'll be able to see more greens. So Shriram Finance, Bajaj Finserv, you also have ITC, Asian Paints, Trent, M&M as among those gainers, whereas on the declining side, Tech Mahindra, Infosys, Eternal, HCL, Tech, Power Grid, Wipro. So IT stocks continue to reel under pressure right in the opening trade as well today. Let's look at some of the other stocks. Federal Bank, after the earnings, you can see a 1.7% decline on this stock. There are brokerage houses also that have contradicting views on this one. That's leading to some pressure there. Although it's the NBFC names that are doing well at this point. Bajaj Finserv, Shriram Finance, both higher. Tata Group stocks, Tata Steel and Trent, both are higher in trade. 0.7% of an uptick on Asian Paints. That's also higher. ITC post earnings is 0.5% higher in trade again. Auto space is in focus. iShares is higher, in trade. And we'll, of course, look at a whole host of other stocks like Tata Motors. But let's look at delivery, what we were talking about. 4.7% higher at 450. That's the one that's soaring after the earnings. And that's where both our guests are positive on and believe that this is the right point to really look at the stock as well. So that's as far as delivery as a stock is concerned. Results impact more stocks coming into focus. ABB India is down by about 1.9% post results. LIC Housing Finance is up by 2.7% post the earnings here. Let's also look at what else is in focus right now. We're also looking at, the IT stocks continue to be under some pressure at this point in time. Siemens is down 0.8%. You're also looking at some weakness coming in on ABB again further post the margins contraction that's come in. And therefore, you can actually see some weakness that is spewing. Okay, let's go across to Vaishali. How do you see the opening, Vaishali?
I think wait and watch, Sakshi. We are still holding on to the higher level, so I would say wait and watch. But why some of the stocks which are fairly priced can be considered. Like I do like ABB at these levels. That can be accumulated from here on. Then we have
Okay.
HAL. That is looking quite all right. So that can be looked into. So I would go for stock specific for accumulation.
Okay, look at Sarda Energy from the broader markets. Almost what 16.5% higher. The stock is actually soaring in trade right now. Vaishali, would you look at catching this gap up?
I think so because this implies that there is some inherent strength. So the way it is showing, I would say keep 490 as stop loss and look for a target of 550, 560 from here on.
Okay, got that. So that's the view that's coming in as far as the stock is also concerned. Let me quickly also look at some of the other key areas that we can discuss with Vineet now. Vineet, let me just ask you on your choice of sectors where you are actually building up, your clients' positions at this point in time. What are those areas? Vineet, are you on mute by any chance? We couldn't hear you.
Sorry. Looking positive on electrification, as you said, entire entire segment looks good. Skipper has added new capacities. We think there's strong trends playing out there. Apart from this, healthcare, FMCG, especially agri-food process stocks should do well. KRBL uh, and the pack. So these are some of the sectors that we are quite optimistic about.
Okay, got that. So that's the key areas to keep in focus. Let me also bring up real estate. Godrej Properties is in focus today after the earnings. Brokerage houses have a buy call here. Although many are cutting the target price on this one to about 3,000. Remember, Godrej Properties had been consistently in focus over the last couple of weeks and months, and Vaishali has been consistently tracking the stock on technicals. Vaishali, Godrej Properties post earnings, how would you really look at the stock?
Well, I think Sakshi, it's on a downward trajectory. The strength is diminishing in this particular stock. Even if I'm looking at a weekly chart, it's showing lower tops. So only consolation is that 2000 should act as a support level, and if you see the support is respected, I think it can bounce to 2400. The continuation of strength would be only about 2600, which I don't see for now.
Okay. Vineet, what about you? How are you looking at the real estate story panning out right now?
I think one should give it a skip completely. Uh, our belief is that the prices, the bookings are kind of slowing down. You can see from the numbers that they're putting out, the revenue numbers are coming in very weak. And, I believe that the stocks are priced to perfection. So we are going to see a substantial slide here and just avoiding this segment as much as possible.
Real estate skip right now from Vineet's point of view at this point in time. So you can actually look ahead and give it a miss at this point. Nothing exciting coming in onto the focus. What about the mid and small caps, Vineet? What is looking good here within the broader markets?
I just suggested to you to look at Shelby. So I think that is a
Yes.
good stock to play out in. Other story is that interest us is going to be in the electrical space only. I think that's a very, very strong trend. And out here, I pointed out Skipper to you. So these are some
Yes.
of the stocks that we would be wanting to go with.
Shall we skipper some of the stocks from the broader markets that could be panning out as interesting stories that investors can definitely look at this point in time as well? Commodity space, is that looking positive to you at all? Vaishali, how are you looking at MCX post earnings? The stock has moved up. Anything within the commodity basket?
Not for now, actually, because I think it's already shown good correction move. However, but the trend is still okay. So I would say 7,500 would act as a good support. The uptrend is very intact, and 7,500 to 8,500 would be the range that I would look at. Right.
Okay, got that. So that's the view that's coming in as well on the commodity basket. Vinny, to you, what about the cement space? This space really garnered a lot of investors' attention over the last 1 or 2 months. Does this story still continue to be on a strong footing?
Yeah, because all the players, their EBITDA per ton is going up, volume trajectory is up, and all that signifies is very strong leverage, operating leverage playing out. So quite bullish on these stocks, if I may say.
Okay, yeah. Any pecking order that you'd like to highlight for us within the cement pack? What would your
Uh,
top choice be?
JK Cements looks very strong. Uh,
Okay.
I think one should look at Dalmia Bharat, play on Northeast India. So these are some of the two stocks. And of course, you cannot forget Ambuja because Ambuja is a player which is adding capacity very rapidly. And they expected to add 50% capacity over the next 1.5 years. And that uh, volume growth will also play out along with their EBITDA margins improving.
Okay, got that. So that's the view that's coming in. Let me discuss banking, which we haven't discussed so far. Vinny, what stands out within the banking universe? Private PSU banks, NBFCs, post earnings. Where are you increasing your position?
I think you should be looking at DCB Bank. It's been out of favor, growing at 18 to 20%, and valuations are quite benign. So that is one point, which one stock which I will be quite positive on.
DCB Bank, that's one the stock that one can definitely keep an eye out on from the banking universe that Vineet likes at this point. Vineet, how about Federal Bank after the earnings? How have you looked at this story also? Do you think, there are contradicting views today? Let me just highlight for all our viewers. So, Federal Bank, Morgan Stanley has an underweight call. They have a target price of 165. They believe slippages and credit costs continue to increase quarter on quarter due to the MFI stress. Management expects MFI stress to ease in only 1 to 2 quarters from now, and no major asset quality concerns elsewhere. But ROA is also expected to moderate to 1%. CLSA has an outperform rating. They believe the target price of 230 can easily be seen. They have a marginal PAT beat also as per their own estimates, and they believe credit cost is 70% above estimates, although profitability is maintained via strong other income. How would you look at Federal Bank?
So, I've looked at Federal Bank quite many times before, and always, I found that the stock is trades at valuations which are premium. So, it is still not a compulsive buy for me, and hence, I would just look at TCB Bank as I told you.
Okay, got that. So, Vineet, in the end, help us understand. We've discussed a lot about the macroeconomic uncertainties that grapple us. We've discussed the earnings, outcome as well, and we're now going to be understanding as to how the markets are able to overcome all these walls of worries. You seem to be, confident about the markets bouncing back from these levels. The worst seems to be already priced in, is what you mentioned. From here, from 24,650 odd levels, where do you see the Nifty towards the end of the year? We are already in the beginning of a festive season that lurks upon us.
So, I believe that we could see a bounce from current levels, probably 300-400 points on the Nifty. And we'll take it from there because the world scenario is very quickly evolving. A lot of too many moving parts, and you cannot really stick out your neck and say that this is what will happen. So keeping all these things in mind, I think you know uh, if we do 25, 24, 900 and above, then we are getting into a good, comfortable market. Else, it will be more of a trading bounce as such.
So, 400-500 points from now is what you are penciling in, and probably from then on we should take a fresh view. But what is the ideal way as an equity investor to continue to do in this kind of a scenario? I mean, what would you advise investors? How should they continue to do an SIP and not bother about how the markets are going up and down on an every day, every week, every month basis? What exactly is the strategy?
So, I'm very positive on the Indian economy. Uh, However, the geopolitical scenario globally is devolving very rapidly. Uh, and we cannot grow in isolation. So unless and until this, there is going to be a lot of pain associated with the reset that is going to happen in the US. So my view towards SIPs is that keep your SIPs going, because when the market comes down, that is the best time to average your SIPs. Your cost of acquisition is smaller, and whenever the reset happens, India will bounce back very, very strongly. So this kind of scenario is very ideal for SIP investors, because you get to accumulate a large amount of units at a lower dollar cost. So an SIP investor is a long-term investor, and all these negative trends are their actual signals that they should be adding to their investments.
Okay, fair point. Well, Vineet, we'll leave you at that note. Thank you so much for being with us and sharing with us all your insights on the markets. Appreciate your time. Thank you so much for being with us. All right, viewers, first 15 minutes of a candle is formed. Let's go across to Vaishali to find out what do the markets indicate. I think it's the broader markets that are leading the recovery right now, Vaishali.
I would say so. Actually, there is a good bounce. This is, I think, a relief rally for now. I would call it a relief rally because
Okay.
we were at the make or break levels on Friday close, right? As I told you, 24,550, that's where we close. So we are seeing a bounce. So I think expect a range of 24,850 for now as the resistance and 24,550 as the support. And Bank Nifty also 55,500 as support and 56,200 or something should be the level to watch.
Okay, I think the Nifty is higher by 0.4%. The Nifty is up by about 0.2% at this point in time. Broader markets are leading the recovery in trade today. Among the sectors, I think it's autos and metals that are bouncing. Let me look at autos first, Vaishali, with you. How would you look at the auto space at this point in time? We've had the sales numbers come through. What would take your attention right now?
So right now, what I'm looking as per the move, I think it is Hero Moto which is showing a lot of strength, and it is technically very well placed. So I would look at this stock per se because Mahindra and Mahindra, even Maruti, they have been very, very sluggish. Tata Motor, in fact, broke the trend. So I would look at these stocks. I mean, Hero Motor to start with, and TCS. I mean, TVS Motors, sorry.
Okay, Hero Moto and TVS Motors among the two-wheelers seem to be preferred bets vis-a-vis the other players at this point in time. 1.26% higher for the auto index, and that's the one that's leading. We are also seeing metals also shine bright. What about the metal story, Vaishali? Would you be looking at some stocks here as well?
Yes, definitely, Sakshi, because I think Hind Copper, Hindustan Zinc, even Jindal Steel and Power, I mean, full metal pack looks attractive. Even stocks like SAIL, that would be a good buying level as well. So as I said, right now it's not a market to look at trading point of view, but I would say for long term, these are opportunities. These dips are an opportunity to make a good portfolio.
What about UPL Limited? Are you looking at that? Some positive momentum can be seen built up on this one. 6.5% higher now.
So UPL, I believe last week was the result. And see, if I were to talk about the trend, it is continuing with its upward trend. And what we see, 660, 680 was the dip that we saw yesterday on Friday. And I think it's showing a good bounce. So I would say a range of near-term resistance lies at 735, 740. So unless and until we see a further up move above that, it would be a continuation of an uptrend. Till then, it is a sideways move.
Okay, some more buzzing stocks that you can watch, viewers. Chalet Hotels. Let's pull up that one. 931 right now, 4.5% higher for this one. Delivery we've already marked. UPL we've already marked for our viewers. These are the ones that are buzzing. Gabriel India again is on the move. You can see about a 3.9% uptick now. MCX post earnings is high, about 4.5%. You're also looking at many other names. Nelco is also higher by 901 now, 3.7% higher for Nelco also coming in at this point in time. But Gabriel India, let's discuss that one now, Vaishali. How would you look at the stock after the recent correction also played out?
Just have a look. So Gabriel also 1047 right now, strong uptrend. I think today's candle shows a new round of momentum. I would say keep 1000 as a stop loss and look for a target of 1100, 1120.
Okay, that's Gabriel India for you viewers. Let me also pull up, the weakness, that we can spot among sectors and stocks. It's IT that is a drag again. How would you look at the IT stocks right now, Vaishali, and what's keeping the sentiments low? Would it be again away from your radar?
I'll just have a look. So Nifty IT, if we were to talk on the whole, I mean, I think it has shown good corrective move. Currently at 34,520. It can take a breather over here. The selling can take a breather over here. But if 34,000 levels break, then it calls for further trouble. So I would say accumulate would be a better strategy. And I would look at HCL Tech. I would look at these Tech Mahindra. In fact, Infosys also. Accumulation would be a better strategy, but I would not be in a hurry.
Not be in a hurry. All right. Let me quickly look at some of the other aspects as well that we can highlight for our viewers. Okay, banks, let's discuss. I think PSU banks are again outperforming among the banking space right now. Bank of Baroda, Can Bank, Maharashtra Bank, PNB, Indian Bank, TSB, they are the ones that are hovering higher. PSU banks on your radar at all, Vaishali?
So yes, as you said, spoke about Bank of Maharashtra, UCO Bank, in fact,
Yeah.
even PNB Bank, they have come towards the support level. But right now, it's too early to say whether we are bottoming out. So again, I would maintain not a trader's mind frame, but for a long-term perspective, this looks good. I mean, especially if you look at Bank of Maharashtra, UCO Bank, they look good. Even PNB, I would say 102 is a good level to watch for to start buying this stock. And of course, top of the line SBI, I think 780 acts as a very good support to start buying again.
Okay, got that. So that's the view that's coming in. Let me again look at the heat map on the Nifty. Hero Moto is the top mover. Tata Steel, Eicher, IndusInd Bank, BEL, Bajaj Auto, M&M, Grasim. These are the ones that are higher. Geo Finance is also pulling up. Hindalco is higher. On the downside, Power Grid, Tech Mahindra, Infosys, Tata Consumer Products, HCL Tech, Wipro, Nestle is down, Sun Pharma is also down, although the gainers are far higher than the number of losers as far as the Nifty breadth is concerned at this point in time. And we've already discussed the buzzing topics of auto space, metal space that is hogging the limelight. On the Nifty, the key contributors today are ITC, post-earnings strength, is also higher. HUL continuing with its move, the FMCG move that moved up last week. Reliance Industries is also contributing on the positive side, but Infosys is contributing negatively. Sun Pharma is contributing on the negative side. Bharti Airtel, ICICI Bank, L&T. These are all the stocks that are actually contributing on the negative side for the markets at this point in time as well. Let me quickly look at what else can we really discuss. Vaishali, something that's been off the radar is railway and defense that used to be so much mainstream for our discussions. How would you look at these underperforming spaces?
So, Sakshi, if I talk about defense, we started with HAL, right? So I would say overall full defense pack. We talk about Mazgaon Dock, Cochin Shipyard, HAL, BDL. These are all, they have shown good corrective move. Maybe another corrective move to the extent of 2 to 3% cannot be ruled out. But after a good, making a good high and coming back to a good retracement level, I would say that it's worth considering to start buying again. But if you're asking me, look at Eternal right now. The trend is so intact. It's getting into new round of momentum. I would say it continues to make a high. So that is one stock which is a confirmation of strength.
Yeah. Okay, so Eternal is up by about 0.6%. It's moving on the day's high point as well. And it's actually on the positive radar for Vaishali as well. Let me also try to spot some other names. Trend I wanted to discuss. What's happening here? It's it's been trading in a range and, probably slipping lower as well. Trend has been an interesting story to watch. Last year, there was so much FOMO about Trent that, people were missing out on buying Trent at lower levels, and the stock only continued to give higher returns. In fact, it was the only stock on the Nifty that doubled investors' money in 2024. This year, on a 3-month path, on a 6-month path, year to date, you look at any parameter, it would have given negative returns. At 5,200 odd levels right now, it has seen a lot of choppiness, seen some bounces as well. But what does the trend look like for this one? Trend, what would you say?
Well, it's just a bounce back right now because even if I'm looking at the weekly chart, 5,000 acts as a make or break level again. So if 5,000 levels are breaking, I would say this can go towards 4,800, 4,600 levels. So not a
Okay.
conviction still. The stock gains momentum only above 5,500, 5,600. Then you may say that yes, the corrective move is done with and we are back on track. But till then, no, not much of a
Till then,
clarity.
okay, so don't jump the gun as of now. There could be even lower levels, and one could revisit the stock once it also falls below 5,000 that Vaishali expects on trend. Then one can take a view again in case you are big on such stories as well. Let me quickly look at what's happening. So remember, Vineet talked about Ola Electric as his conviction story. The stock is up by about 3% in trade today, and you can see 41.8 odd levels coming in back. We've discussed UPL sale with Vaishali also. There are others that are moving up. SRF is higher in trade. You have Nalco, NMDC, Sona Comstar is up in trade. AP Capital is also on the move as far as the mid-cap story is concerned. Let me look at the Nifty small cap index, what's passing here. Here you have MCX, which we've discussed, delivery. First Cry is actually higher, 2.5%. CAMS from the capital market story is up. Data patterns, GRSE, some of those defense names coming back, like we pointed out. Railtel Titagarh, again from the railway pack, is also showing us some kind of attraction. Let me pull up even the Nifty 500 names since we're discussing the broader markets to see what else is picking up pace. We've discussed Sarda Energy, now up 14.7%. Let's also look at JSW Energy. That's also on the move. You can also look at Emcure Pharma from the pharma pack. That's also on the buzz right now. So those are some of the names that are actually hovering higher in trade. Anything else that catches your attention, Vaishali, that one should know about?
So I'm looking at, we spoke about Bharat Dynamic, that's getting into momentum.
Yes.
Then, of course, again, if you see the whole of even Mazgaon Dock is getting into momentum. But I do like GMDC from the cash counter. So if you look at GMDC, that is showing strength. It's already 401. We are seeing strength in the candle. So I would say 380 would act as a support. And if we see the stock going above 420, this can give you higher returns. So this is one of the stocks. And the other one is Navkar Corporation.
Okay. After a long haul, Navkar Corporation is coming back into the radar. So GMDC among the cash counters, that's on focus as far as Vaishali is concerned, and Navkar Corp. Those are the two stocks that you could also be looking at in case you're looking to spot some ideas where there is momentum. Look at the spike there in Navkar Corp. Well pointed out. Vaishali, on those stock ideas that one can keep on their radar. 3.5% higher on that one as well. Let me quickly look at where the stocks are actually seeming to feel some pressure. Remember, we were talking about the PSU banks, but within the private banks, also Federal Bank, like I pointed out post earnings, there's a stock has fallen about 4%, 5% now. After Nomura downgrade, the target cuts on MFI stress that continues. On Federal Bank, do you see further pressure build up from here as well, Vaishali?
So overall, if you see, Sakshi, we saw Bank Nifty opening strong, but it's again giving way. And I think overall, all banking stocks are showing signs of profit booking. So I think banks can be a miss for now.
Okay, banks can be a myth for now. That's a clear view that's coming in on that one. Let me discuss the power space with you, Vaishali. We discussed Tata Power with Vineet post earnings. The stock is down by 1.7%, but overall, the power space, mainstream power names, Power Grid, NTPC, Tata Power. Are you looking at even renewable energy names? What's happening in this story? Is it still again a low-lying story right now?
So I would say, yes, power stocks are. I mean, if you talk about Tata Power, it's a stock which really tires you. 380 is the support and 420, 430 is the resistance. It needs to move past that to give you further higher targets. So again, I would say that yes, this level is to be looked into 360, 380. Again, a good buying area to look for higher targets in times to come. But well, nothing right now. Even REC, NTPC, no. But what looks promising is all these power and transmission stocks. I mean, today, right now, what I'm looking at, I think transformer and rectifier did come with good results, technically well placed. So that is another stock which looks quite promising at these levels. And also, if you look at today, I'm looking at Godavari Power. It's showing some strength, some momentum picking up. So these are the individual stocks for now in a market like this, which look quite promising.
Okay, let me also look at one more space. The Tata Group company, Tata Investment Corporation, is in focus today. Remember, this board is going to be meeting today for its first ever share split that they're going to be probably discussing and announcing. And remember, Tata Investment Corporation has regularly paid dividends to its shareholders, having paid 27 rupees per share, 28 rupees per share, and 48 rupees per share in 2025, 2024, 2023, respectively. And the board is now going to be considering a stock split. And the board will be, of course, considering results, and along with it, a share split that could be announced. Remember, this will become the third company in recent times to announce a stock split after MCX and Adani Power as well. Both of which approved dividing one share of equity value of equity face value of 10 rupees into 5 shares each after the conclusion of their board meeting. And let's quickly now look at what Tata Investment has to offer. Remember, Tata Investment has not issued a bonus share to its shareholders in the past. Tata Group Enterprise has regularly only paid dividends. Now, the record date for the stock split also has not been announced yet, and therefore the shares will be in focus. What would you say on Tata Investment Corp, amidst this stock split news now, Vaishali?
So Tata Investment currently at, I think it is a good stock. It's just consolidating right now, but looking at the stock, even for a larger time frame period, I think this is still good. One can accumulate with 6,500, 6,300 levels at support. And if this support level is respected, this can go gradually towards 7,500, 8,000 and so on.
Okay, got that. I hope this has also given you some interesting ideas as to how to go about the stocks that are in focus on the back of some split news that's coming in, at least for the companies that are doing it for the first time as well. Let me also pull up some of the other stocks that we can probably discuss. Okay, again, it's the auto space that continues to be in focus right now. JSW Group is also in focus. Remember, JSW Cement, for its IPO, they have already fixed their price band for its 3,600 crore IPO as well. And that's something that will keep the entire group in focus as well. And, of course, the company is in focus because of the kind of changes that such large players are looking to have on the entire cement dynamics. JSW Group has fixed the price band between 139 to 147 rupees per share for its JSW Cement IPO as well. We were discussing the cement pack with Vineet. Vaishali, what looks good to you, especially with large players entering, now the dynamics changing for the entire space? There was mergers and acquisitions that took place over the last 1 year or so as well.
So, well, of course, I would first top stock that I would always look for a buying opportunity would be Ultratech Cement. And second, as I said, even Ambuja Cement looks good. And then there is Dalmia Cement. So these stocks are looking quite good currently.
Okay, so cement space will also be in focus, viewers. So keep that in mind too as we move forward. Remember, there are 2 allotments in case you are IPO investors that you need to look at. NSDL IPO allotment will be finalized. So in case you applied for the IPO, you will get a message and you will get, to know the status if you want to check on the websites of NSE, BSE, or even the, the kind of, tracks that you can do on the registrar website as well. And the other one is Sri Lotus Developers IPO allotment. So 2 IPO allotments will be finalized today. Keep that in mind in case you are looking at receiving those IPO allotments for yourself. Markets again slipping. You are seeing some pressure built up again in the first half an hour of trade, 24,559. What do you make of this fresh move on the downside? There seems to be consistent lack of strength or a sustainable move that we are seeing in the markets right now, Vishali.
I think the downward trend should continue. Nifty is still holding on, but Bank Nifty is giving way. So I think gradually this can go towards 24,400, 24,200. And Bank Nifty 55,000 should act as a support.
Okay, got that. So the market's continuing to be under pressure. 300 points of a fall from day's high for Bank Nifty. That's creating the pressure. 0.3% lower. And that's also led to the Nifty come down from its upward momentum that we are seeing. So the market trend should weaken from here is what Vaishali is expecting. All right, Vaishali, we'll leave you at that. Thank you so much for being with us on the program and highlighting for us the key pockets where one can concentrate their focus, whereas others that one can completely skip in this market trend that continues to be still under pressure. We'll see how it goes. Thank you so much, Vaishali, for being with us. All right, viewers, we'll now start wrapping up the morning trade for market today. First half an hour is already out, 24,600, and the markets are trying, bulls are trying to protect that level to stay on, but it's very, very volatile. Look at that spike now as we speak. There's again that spike that's taking place. Let me just quickly look at if there is any indication of what has led to that move. Reliance. That's the stock to watch out for. 17 points higher, for 17 points of a contribution coming in from Reliance now in the recovery on the markets. Look at that one. Keep that on your radar today. 1404 currently on Reliance Industry. Let's see how really that pans out in trade. We'll leave you at that, but do stay tuned as market coverage continues on the other side. And of course, I'll be back at 12 noon for your questions on daily calls with two market experts joining in. Stay tuned for that.
Not all numbers are born for the balance sheet. Some are born to bring a smile. Some usher the future. Some make you stand tall. Some numbers light a fire and fulfill wishes. Some spoil you silly. Some echo joyful shrieks. Some numbers have smiles written all over them. Some make the planet happy. Some make the planet healthy. Some numbers rise against all odds. Some are made for dreams. Not all numbers are born for the balance sheet. As we spread our wings globally, we at Mahindra believe that the numbers we are most proud of are the number of lives we have touched. Mahindra, together we rise.
India's economic architects, together on one powerful stage. From Nitin Gadkari to Arvind Panagaria and Montek Singh Ahluwalia. Visionaries who are shaping India's future. All debating the Viksit Bharat roadmap, where legacy meets leadership. Here, the real policy playbook. Finance, roads, reforms. Disinvestment, nothing is off the table. The inside views, uncensored. Only at Adani Business Today, India at 100, 8th August 2025, Shangri-La Eros, New Delhi. India's economic architects.